Okay, now we're going to do zombie skin on you. And most zombies, exactly, you're going to be green. So a lot of times, I've seen a lot of makeup artists like to use a sponge. I prefer a brush, a synthetic brush, because first of all, it does not absorb all my makeup and just waste a ton of it. And I can do this relatively fast by painting it on very quickly. Okay, you're going to notice, put your lips together. I will even paint your lips. Sorry about that. Okay. Now, a lot of times I have noticed that people will just paint their skin just green, just to think, okay, well, that's zombie. Well, you have to put dimensions in this. You have to bring out the the hollows of the skin, of the cheekbones, and give the skin some texture. Now make sure you cover your chin. Oh, let me get this little area right here. But you see how fast you can do this with a brush? To me, it's just so much easier. I don't get my hands all gooey and, and gumpy, and it's really, really, really nice to use a brush. And because my brush is synthetic, it's not porous, so it's not sucking up all my makeup, because that's always such a big waste. The sponge will suck up my makeup. I end up with more makeup on my oh, got on your hair. I'm sorry, sweetie.
That's good.
I get it more on, suck up my makeup with the sponge than I would with a brush. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to kind of go by the shape of your dress. Color all this in. There's other techniques too that you can airbrush, but I think that when I use a cream makeup like this, I can stipple in color much better than I can with an airbrush. Exactly. Airbrush is nice, it's fast, but I personally have a lot more control when I do it this way. And you can see it's not blotchy, it's well covered. And, a lot of times I go in each direction. I'll go straight across, and then I'll go up and down, just to make sure that I don't have any funny little ugly splotches or I missed anything, because I really want this to be a nice, solid veil of color. So with the same type of synthetic brush that I used, I'm going to start to hollow out your cheeks and under your eyes, because that's going to give you the appearance of actually being a zombie. Because, I guess when you decompose, everything gets kind of brought in and out. So I'm going to sink in right here. Now I'm just putting down the color with my brush and giving myself kind of a little map. Okay, this is not how I blend it, but this is how I'm going to put down the color. I'm going to sink in the temples right in here, and I'm mixing this dark green, well, it's more kind of a gray green, but it's a cool tone. I'm mixing that with this kind of an army green color, and then I'm going to do the same thing along your jawline. Sometimes I like to work with a palette like an artist, and I'll put the colors on my palette and I'll mix them that way. But since this is pretty, cut and dry zombie look, I don't really need the extra time to do that. Okay, right in here. Right here. Now you can't see this. If I had a mirror, I'd show you. You can actually blend with a brush because it's a cream. Just like that, and you can get your shadowing with this also with just a brush. Sink those cheeks in, just like that, and it's just a real kind of a shadowy. Now, a lot of times I like to step away from the makeup so I can get a really good perspective on it. Let's go a little bit deeper. And once again, with these kind of brushes, I can use it flat, or I could twist it and make a really sharp line, and I can even stipple with it if I need to. A lot of times if your makeup is still really, really wet, then the stippling will start to kind of blend into it. Okay. So that's why I don't do it right away. I will get my translucent powder, and I don't just leave it on the top. I end up pounding it into my brush, because if not, the first place I touch, I'm going to get a lot of powder on you. So I come in here. Now you notice I'm not sweeping. Yeah. Okay, I'm actually dabbing, because if you sweep, then you're going to kind of mix up.
Smear it up.
Exactly, you're going to smear it up. So I like to dab. I like to dab, dab, dab. Or sometimes when I teach kids, I call it the jackhammer effect, because you're like, you want things to kind of pop. So I like to use a very, very, very vibrant, shiny Lumiere color. And I use this dry. I take my sponge. You know, sponges are not cheap. I mean, our equipment is ridiculous. So I like to take a sponge and just rip off little pieces. And that way I'm not wasting an entire sponge. So I'm going to get this nice, it's called Lumiere. And I'm going to put it right where I want things to pop out. Like over the brow, down the nose. Now this is incredible because it really gives it a really serious effect of having just like a third dimension. And it makes these little features just really pop out. I love these. These come in all different colors too. I use this basically on everything I do except myself. But, all right, now a whole different technique would be for your skin to actually start to look like it's decaying. There's a couple different tricks we can do. I enjoy using liquid latex a lot. Love liquid latex. Love, love, love it. I will mix so many different things into liquid latex, it's not even funny. Now this would be, if you came to me and said, Francia, I want to look like my skin is peeling off. I want to look just kind of rough and yucky and ugly. I would not do the makeup first. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I would pretend I just put it on your natural skin, okay? So I'm going to do this on your arm. Now you can put oatmeal. You can use any type of, let's see, cornmeal. Cornmeal is always my favorite. We had to improvise. So we had Cheerios. So we mashed those up. And if you will hold that for me, Erin, that'd be great. And then I'm going to, in fact, let me pour this in here. Now, there's big chunks, there's little chunks. You don't want it to be like powder. That's kind of why I like cornmeal, because I can add little by little till I get the actual consistency. Popsicle sticks, best thing. Love popsicle sticks. So I get in here and I just give it a nice little swirl. You can see it's kind of chunky. Yeah. Okay. Now liquid latex is awesome because it dries pretty quickly if you have a fan. So now I have it nice and chunky. A little smear right here of liquid latex. Liquid latex dries very, very clear. So once you don't see those little white ridges anymore, you know that it's dry. So once that is dry, then you take your nice, beautiful, gooey, yucky concoction over here, and you can start to spread it out. This, because it's Cheerios, it's a little bit thicker than, you know, what cornmeal would be. You could even use oatmeal if you wanted to. So I'm going to actually put some right here. And I'm going to put some right here on your neck. We've let that liquid latex kind of dry on you. I went ahead, did your arms. Now, with this, we want it to be the same color. So I'm going to take my brush And I'm going to color this stuff. I have to really press in there because it's pretty deep. I'm just dabbing the color in there. Now, I'm not completely, totally covering every tiny, like, little nook and cranny, because that's going to give a little bit of a dimension in there. So, but I am going to put it on top there. Now, what I want to do is give this a little bit of dimension. I don't want it to just look like a bunch of glob on you. So I take my stippling sponge, and these actually come with a kind of a square end, but I get my scissors and I always end up cutting it, making it a little bit rounder, because if I stipple with this, just straight edge, I end up getting square pieces. You know what? You can't really see. What I might even do is grab this liquid latex, pull it. You could hear it kind of rip. Now it looks like a piece of skin that's just kind of hanging there. So I go back with my brush, checking how that looks. So let's do this side too. And it's really nice if you have something that just kind of can lift up the edges. That's why I have these long honking nails. Your hands should really be also painted. So we went ahead and painted that up. And now I'm going to add, I love this dark color. Once again, I'm going to go in your nails. I'm going to go around the cuticle. And I'm just pressing. I'm not painting it on. I'm just kind of moving, I'm just moving this color so it gets in the cuticle. All right. Well, this is basically how you do a zombie makeup and body. Erin, let's go get you into your costume and see how it looks.
Great.
Okay.